It's about how in the future, according to the Bible, blacks will eventually rise over all other societies based on the power of Christ and his deliverance. It's a very power-packing book, has many scriptures in it, and it's a very, very deep book. I encourage you to get it. That book is $9.99 plus $2.95 postage and handling. You can write me here and you can get that. I also have another book called Brief History of the Illuminati. A lot of you have heard about George Bush's New World Order and how the UN is coming together. You're interested in how the summits are going and how things are happening. I got news for you. That is a pre-planned program that has started back in the 1700s. And it's right on up to the Bush administration. It is totally orchestrated by Satan. And this book is very, very heavy. I want to tell you a little bit about these videotaping cassettes before I take a couple of more calls. History of the World, Street Wars, The Real Jews Are Black, The True Color of Christ, The Third World's War. These are just to name a few of the videotapes and cassettes. All our videotapes and transcripts, we keep them at a very low price of $19.95. Right in. And let me say this to all you brothers and sisters out there: you need these kind of books and these tapes in your library. This is a must. These are the kind of things that we need to be teaching our children. Okay, once they've learned the ABCs, before they get indoctrinated with Western civilization and George Washington and things like that, we need to know a little more about a stronger foundation about the truth about ourselves. Okay, that's enough on that. Let me just run this.
New tonight at 6, 2 black ranchers in rural El Paso County say they're
54 I.S.U.P.K. Passover, Raleigh Convention Center. It's 481 Join us.
Big shine, big glow. I be gone till November, let my bitch know. I'm back by the winter, bubbling like Crisco. I need my pockets all swollen like a lymph node. Talking out the side of your neck, get you a slit throat. I stay broke, don't care if I got $1 million. Looking down on me, I put your brains on the ceiling. Fuck kicking down the door, we about to demo the building. These fake cats all in these groups, I wonder who ya. Shoot ya, off your pulpit, hallelujah. 4-pound gun youngin' down like it's a cougar. On my feet, combat boots, or is it Puma? Word spreading around about me, none of it rumor. All truth, very big facts, very large caliber on very small gas. Compact pistols, ladders, and all that. About to throw the switch in the Nina for rapid fire. Got the 5.7 equipped with the magnifier. Boom shakalaka, equipped with the rim rocker. We ain't really got beat, yeah, Ramak with a bin shot you. The best rhymer, Synth Pop and Big Papa. Big Llama, Big Juice, I'm Big Jamba. Quarter tank of gas, I'm not a big Jamba. In sweat, not in with the most high, and he's standing up with the most high. He's part of the Red Sea, and the entire nation of Israel walked out of slavery. One West bedded, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West when I start.
This is the Raleigh Convention Center. It's a big lobby too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Convention Center, taking it to the next level, worldwide.
Yes, sir.
So these are the 2 escalators.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. It's 2 here.
Coming
So
up.
we'll be A and B. Right? Right. So A and B. So we'll have from here to the back there. So
Coming up.
restroom.
So A and B.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
So from here, I believe.
They said that corner, that corner that.
From there, all the way down.
Hey, let me tell y'all something, brothers and sisters. Okay, I want you to understand. I want you to understand something, and why this is so important. Because when Satan tried to overthrow the truth, it was but a handful, and I mean a small handful of brothers that came together. Big shout out to General Muhammad, General Maya, General Haas, General Shalmar, General Kathum Gabon, and General Q, and all the captains and soldiers that came through, and all the beautiful sisters. It was just a handful of brothers Satan thought to overthrow this truth, which is why we've been coming together for 54 years to promote this truth, and why you got to be here, why I want you here. I'm just telling you straight up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even a promotion. This is why I want you here. Take a look at this. Give me a panoramic of this right quick. All the way around. once again, this is a mark of what this truth has done for us and what the Lord have done for us. This wasn't done by man. This was the Most High doing this because he handed us this truth and we held on to it. And it's a beautiful thing. And I can't wait to see y'all April 1st. It's going to be amazing. Oh, man. This is just what we need. And I see why they said that we needed that level of sound. Because to reach this room, to fill this room, you need some serious sound. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, right here. Let me see. Anybody in here?
Appreciate it.
Yep. So this would be the male dressing room.
Male dressing room. Oh, it's nice size too. Okay. Yeah. All right, fam. This is a perfect male dressing room. You got bathrooms over here, showers. Turn around. You can take a look at that. I'll get in here and get set up. So do exactly what you need to do. You know what I mean? And once again, it's deserving of the brothers who have been so strong to hold us down for you to be just as strong and join them April 1st. It's an amazing thing. That's it. All right.
Oh, yeah, hey there.
Look at this wonderful, wonderful kitchen. So big shout out to Shaquana Pod. Your work is in good hands. Can we do a circle right quick? See how wonderful your work is the center plate. Handle their business. Thanks for allowing us to put you on tape. Showing what a great kitchen and a great operation this is. So I look forward to seeing everybody come on in, man. It's going to be amazing. April 1st. Raleigh, North Carolina, y'all. We at the backdrop of the convention center. We right across the street, doing it straight up in the Hanover room. Take a look at this room. Now they're gonna work this whole thing out for us. GEN.YAHANNA's class will be rocking on the level. And I mean, I'm standing in this room and the temperature control system in this room is absolutely off the hook. So it's gonna be comfortable, beautiful, fully decorated, ready to go. This is it, fam. We worked hard for this. We worked hard to get here. So let's get it on. Big shout out to General Muhammad. Big shout out to the class he puts on, smoking as usual. And, you know, it's going to be beautiful to get up in here, man, and do our thing. Also, Feast of Unleavened as well. We'll be getting together, bringing this brotherhood and sisterhood together. We got to fight to bring the 12 tribes together. You ain't going to bring the 12 tribes together without a battle. You got to go to war to bring them together. Christ said, bring them two sticks together and tie them together. Everybody make it out, man. We doing it up April 1st, man, the whole week. Whew, it's going to be beautiful. All right, yo.
Yes, sir.
Like anything, if you want to accomplish anything, especially in the truth of the Most High, you warn against all the spirits that would like to see you destroy it and like to see it fail. But through the grace and mercy of the Most High, great men have stood the test of time to create great things for the Most High. And this is no different. This is no different. This is a war and a battle to bring this truth where it should be. And boy, the men and women in this truth are continuing to do an amazing job. So see y'all out there. War up April 1st.
One West bread, one West bedded, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West.
Some man. Anybody, God, they want all y'all to go worship some man. Anybody tell you to go worship some man, tell them to drop dead.
That's right.
Anybody tell you to go worship some man, tell them to drop dead.
That's right.
Anybody tell you to go worship some man, tell them to drop dead.
That's right.
But niggas like to worship a man too damn much. He is wicked. To even take that title is wicked. To even claim it is wicked. To disrespect the Lord is wicked like that. And to come up against me, once again, look at my tapes. All I've been doing since I was 17 is teaching and helping black people. Waking them up, building camp. My name is known in the Hebrew Israelite world. All across this country, in the Caribbean, in Europe, everybody know me. The very first school that they was in, where do you think they learned from? I taught them. I came to Baltimore. I sent them. Remember years ago, 235 Park Avenue? That was my school.
That's right.
I taught them niggas in the 90s. And they gonna turn around and go worship this nigga, break off from me, go worship this nigga, and then turn on me. When I told them, God gonna kill that fat bastard, man.
That's right.
Some niggas gonna die. God gonna kill that fat bastard, man.
That's right.
Some niggas gonna die. Even though I don't know you, I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he made man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
You don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Let's get it on. Most High in Christ, step it up. Here we are again, getting it on tonight. Stand by for Commanding General Yahanna. He will be here shortly to solve all of your problems and answer all of your questions and heal all of the wounds that your parents caused, that your preachers caused. We'll get it on tonight. We're here with General I.S.U.P.K. Give him a hand.
Shalom.
Officer Marah, Officer Yediah, the young brother, the trooper in the back. Give us your name, trooper. Nathumya, give him a hand. We're getting it on tonight. We're going to rock it out. We have the stories. We'll go into the Grammys. That happened the Oscars that happened last night. The Oscars, all of the black society in Blackville is into the Oscars. They believe in the Oscars. They gain their self-esteem from the Oscars, Maya. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that self-esteem is gained from the Oscars. We'll go into the Oscars, the Grammys, and our oppressor society as a whole, because that's where you gain your self-esteem. That's where you get your piece of self. That part of you that is you get from what your oppressor thinks of you. We'll go into that tonight. First, Officer Yediah will go over a few stories. Yediah.
Khan, sir. It's dangerous. Siblings allegedly face vicious assaults spat on by white kids at Manhattan Elementary School, told to keep it a secret from their parents.
This happened in Manhattan, in New York. These children were spit on by white students right at the school, correct? Students at the school. The faculty told them not to tell their parents about it. Go into it, Yediah.
A husband and wife have filed a lawsuit against the New York City Department of Education on behalf of their two children. Amos Winbush III and Tiffany Winbush claim in the lawsuit filed on February 16th that their 5-year-old son and 10-year-old daughter endured racial abuse from other students. attending the predominantly white Beck-Slip School in Manhattan. Their children were subjugated to being spat on, death threats, and racial slurs.
Keep going.
The lawsuit claims that the couple's children have been subjugated to unimaginable racism at the school, and that the teachers, along with the school officials, have enabled the racially hostile environment. Amos and Symphony Wimbush's children have endured unimaginable racism, physical and emotional trauma, violence, and bullying from dehumanizing treatment at their New York City public school.
Skip me down to the part where the teacher said, "Don't tell your parents." Allah put y'all. Barack. Clap it up. Let's get it on. This is just the first story.
Okay.
This is a story, sir, about students in Manhattan. They were being spit on and racially abused by the students in the white students in the predominantly white school. The faculty told the children not to tell their parents and enabled the racist white students. And this was going on for a while. And this is in Manhattan. I believe that's where we stopped right there. Dang.
Teachers and school officials have fostered and enabled and perpetuated a racial hostile environment at Beck-Slip, and that environment has emboldened students to harass and abuse the Wimbush children, and physically and emotionally.
And once again, this is, I never would complain about any man or woman getting the money that they earn. If you go to a slavery and you're able to get a good paycheck, that's your right. That's anybody's right to get paid for the work that they do. But what I cannot stand is that preachers get all of that money to be civil rights champions and they failed at that job. Like, this is absolutely terrible. This is Manhattan. And we got about 5 more of these stories where some teacher was abusing their children for years, abusing black children, and no one told anybody. And the story is from last year, not from the 60s, not from the 50s. And your preacher got paid so much money and he did not do anything. He didn't work for his money. He got paid, but he didn't do anything. I thought the preachers, they were supposed to usher us into a post-racial society. They were supposed to make all hands come together and black girls and white people and black boys join hand in hand and end racism. Meanwhile, you're getting spit on in the school. You're not getting hired because of the color of your skin. You're dying. The police are shooting you, and the preacher still got the money. He still got rich. This happened in Manhattan, sir. Keep going. Wait, skip down to the other one I just referenced. I believe that's it on that, unless you have more that's pertinent.
A little bit more.
Go ahead, please.
That's crazy. Still in 2023.
2023.
They go after our children. They ain't got no problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of one kind.
No problem with it. Like you said, a preacher that don't, I wish we could pull up that. We had that article where them eugenicists with Margaret Sanger was saying, the way to get them is through that preacher. You know the one I'm talking about? You remember that one?
Yeah.
If you can, grab that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, in there where she come out and said, this is how you get them. Get that preacher. Pay him. She lays the whole thing out. That's their kids there.
That's them. And so there's another story that I'm not sure. I think we always mean to go to, but I think we run out of time, of those black farmers in Denver, Colorado.
That's right.
That's all over the internet. They getting abused like 1962 down there.
Yeah.
They getting berated, and they got the sheriff on them like Boss Hogg in 1962.
Trying to
running them off of their land. I mean, abusing them, using the law enforcement. And it's somehow too, sir, when in those towns where the sheriff comes together with the citizens against the black citizens, that is so reminiscent of the 60s. You know, where it's like, it's not just the police, it's the police saying, well, they have a complaint against you.
Yeah.
You know, like meaning, I don't like you. The other neighbors don't like you.
Yeah.
None of us like you, and we getting you the hell out of here.
Yeah.
That's like 1963.
Like, yeah.
So
Or just like today, when you go downtown and you looking too long in one of them windows.
There you go.
Here come the cops. Like, what are you doing here? You know, no loitering. That no loitering is for us. You know what I mean? To that they doing to this day. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And again, you right. What you so right on is the fact that, okay, the one place people are gonna go to find out if this is right is going to be to the men that call themselves the men of God. And that is going to be the one place they're going to totally get no justice. Which is why we're in the state we're in. And which is why the Lord said, our teachers shall not be in the corner any longer. That's why he raising up these great prophets in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? Under your house shot. You understand? Because by doing that, they're going to be able to get, let me tell you something, man. If anybody watching the news, get ready if you in the I.S.U.P.K. because these schools are about to get flooded. You're going to be calling headquarters like, yo, I need help. Because wherever your school is at, get ready. Hold the faith. Because your school is about to get flooded with so many people, more people than you can handle. You're going to learn a great lesson in people management in about 2 seconds. Because this world is unraveling like I can't even explain. You understand? I turn on CNN 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like I'm at the ball game. It's like I'm at the battle rap. Who's on first? What's going on? It's like a ball game. Because everything that's going on in this earth right now. It's a lot. So yeah, you're right. But yet, your kid can't even go to school. And once again, a real responsible preacher would say, let's start building our own schools. Like Martin Luther King's movement, which wasn't his movement, by the way. It was the push cart workers movement. The brothers working on them trains. The first thing that them push cart workers did with Rosa Parks was the blueprint. They wouldn't let her, they told her she had to get to the back of that bus while pregnant for a white man to sit down. Imagine that. She had to get to the back of the bus for a white man to sit in the front of the bus, and she was a female and pregnant. She refused, hell broke loose. We boycotted the buses. That day should have been the blueprint for every single thing we did after that. And here's the sad part. When we did that back there in the 60s, Black Wall Street was way more in our mind. Tulsa, Oklahoma was way more clear in our mind. Wilmington, North Carolina was way more clear in our mind. All of the lynchings were clearer. We're talking 70 years ago. All those things were way clearer to the generation before us and the generation before them. We did interviews with Malcolm's family and them, remember? And they were living relatives that saw the racism firsthand. That was the blueprint. But they hijacked it with Martin Luther King. Had we boycotted back then, we'd have tens of thousands of farms right now. Mm-hmm. And we boycotted back then, we'd have banks. You worried about your money in the bank. You ain't got no banks. That's Esau's banks. And he's a thief. He's going to try and steal everything in them banks. So we blew it back then. We had the blueprint, but we didn't follow the blueprint. We wasn't cold enough against this man that had done so much to us. Instead, we were being shoveled, love, 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 forgive, 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 turn the other cheek, while he didn't have to do a damn thing. It was damn near like you had to fight to take away his racism against you on a certain level. He didn't have to do a thing, but go on with his life and prosper, and he give you some mercy as he feel fit to give it to you. As he feel that it's beneficial to him or to his morals or whatever he feeling inside. His son died in the war. His daughter turned out to be a dope fiend. So now he got a little conscience. He turn around now and give you some mercy. Well, be easier on the niggas in this city or that city. But outside of that, he didn't have to do a damn thing. But you had to do all the work because your preachers lied, man. Lied and destroyed us. Go ahead, You found it? Please read that for me. This is exactly what General Muhammad is bringing out.
Colonel Khan, sir. It says, just as Margaret Sanger targeted African-American pastors to encourage the use of artificial birth control within the Black community, Coburn said that Black pastors can be the catalyst to an ending the practice. Margaret Sanger, in her Negro Project of 1939, was
she had a Negro Project in 1939. It wasn't even no civil rights movement. 1939. She already had a project on how to get rid of it. Go ahead,
Colonel Khan. She was successful at infiltrating the Black community, largely through Black pastors and preachers.
Dang. You hear that? Listen, that's intel for a street warrior right there. Yes, sir. You a street camp leader? That's intel for you. You see that preacher coming? Margaret Sanger in the back, pulling the string. Yeah. She doing this. Go ahead,
Colonel
39.
Colonel Khan. I believe that God wants to close that back door to our community by the same people group, the watchmen that opened the door to the community, he said. So if it was opened by Black pastors and preachers, I believe that Black pastors and preachers are the significant group.
Okay. In other words, she knew that they were the ones that infiltrated. And that's the reason why that family, they look halfway innocent, like they go to church. Yeah. Thinking that, there's good white people and naive. Naive, there it is. You know what I mean? Naive to where the place that we are. We very naive as a people. As a people, these 12 tribes are very naive to what's about to happen in this earth. You about to live in a different world, brother, like you ain't never seen before. They're gonna peel back this world. And you're going to find out, man, it's an empty can in here. And it's going to be scramble of the rats in 2 seconds. Go ahead, And they moving quick, making alliances, breaking alliances. Yeah. They moving fast. Go ahead, Was that it? That was it on the story for what? And watch it, and if I could, watch all the rules change. Like the rules going to change for everything in about 2 seconds. All the rules are going to change. And you're going to see Black people going to actually start to innovate. Latinos, Native Indians, you're going to start to innovate, meaning you're going to stop thinking of how they do things. And you're going to use common sense. And you're going to start doing things totally different. You're going to start doing things totally different because it's going to mean your survival and the survival of your children. One of the things a lot of people are going to do that's going to piss people off is they're going to join the Israelite school UPK. Yeah. They've been watching us for years, in the back of their mind, watching, going about life. Hell going to break loose. And then they're going to know, I better get up there with them. They know what they're doing. They've been saying this for years. And it's going to change everything. Salaki, go ahead.
If I could, please. Like this topic you brought out, General Muhammad bringing out earlier, right? This is what they always wanted to do. Like, remember when Trump gave them damn near the license to come out of the closet now? Like, they ain't got to hide it before, right? They can just come out. Before it was like almost hidden. They would still do the same thing, but it was hidden. Now it's getting more and more bolder. Them doing this here. Hey, give me Ecclesiasticus, the 13th chapter, verse 15, real quick. You understand? Because this is what it is, man. And the problem is the shepherds who are supposed to be over the flock of the Lord, they are not over the flock of the Lord. You are shepherds for money. You understand me? Like, you doing this here for money. That's why Margaret Sanger can say what she said, because she knew they was looking for money and wanted to be like them, wanted a piece of their pie, and they really care about their own. Yeah, that's heavy. You understand? They didn't want that. Now the Lord said this, man, every beast like his own kind. Don't be shocked and surprised at what they do. The reason you shocked, because you don't know the scriptures. You shocked because you don't know who you are. And you don't know the Lord called you to be separate from them. You want to interact with them. You want to interact with them. You can't help it. But you ain't got to look to be around them all the time. And man, take their mess. You do it because you're a good Christian. I'm going to go up in here. I'm going to be a good Christian. I'm not going to stoop to their level. Why are you getting polarized out here? Here's what the Lord said, brother. You got it for me, Yediah? Read,
Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 and verse 15. Every beast loveth his like.
Say it again.
Every beast loveth his like.
Go ahead.
And every man loveth his neighbor.
You see that, man? It's set, let you know, every beast get down with themselves. The dogs don't hang with the wolves. The wolves don't hang with dogs. The dogs don't hang with foxes. Foxes don't hang with dogs. Every beast loves his own kind. And by this happening right there, they'll let you know they love them, their own kind, and not us. Keep on reading, brother.
Verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
And a man will do what, brother?
Cleave to his like.
Will do what, brother?
Cleave to his like.
By them singling out them young kids in that school. You know what I mean? He is letting them know that we cleave to our own kind and not them. Like, you separate from us. So because you ain't us, we're going to torture you in these schools. Which is why we had a story last week of the farmers up in Colorado where they didn't have, they get assaulted by everybody. The sheriff's not helping them, all that kind of stuff going on. That happens, is happening more and more. Why is it happening more and more? Because the Lord's trying to show you something, man. They taking their stance. When you going to take yours? When you going to take yours? Like how the Lord said for us to now be down with our own kind. Like how Commander GEN.YAHANNA said, listen, more y'all gonna come in here. Because you can see what's going on out here. And you can see, you're gonna know that we've always said these things. And you have to come to where the truth is and come back home. Because they're not accepting you out there in the world.
Yeah, if I could add something to you, that was so revealing. When the COVID-19 came, right? It started to look out there a little bit like in here. Like it started to get the water. It started to look a little muddy. Like it was looking a little like cats was putting on boots, jackets. They had their scarves over their face, covering their head. Everybody was worried about the COVID. Everybody was moving harder. You know what I'm saying? They start moving like we move it here. Hardcore. And now they done eased up a little bit, but it's coming back again. It's gonna be nomadic, like them old Mad Max movies. It's getting ready to get nomadic on them. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Okay. Florida teacher who called a biracial student a mutt has been abusing students for decades.
Damn. Now that's not the teacher that threw the student up against the wall and made them sing the national anthem.
Oh, that's another one.
You got that?
That's in there too.
That's in there too.
That's not this story.
That's not this. Okay, that's a good one too. But go ahead.
Like
if I could, these stories are happening. These stories is so important in that these stories are happening because again, like Haas mentioned, Donald Trump made Edomites not have to bridle themselves no more. They tasting freedom, which really means slaughter black people, slaughter Latino, right or wrong. So they feeling it and they can't hold themselves no more. Go ahead. I think that moved the camera.
A Florida teacher.
When you move the table and it kind of.
A Florida teacher who has been harassing students with racist diatribes and personal attacks for decades is now being scrutinized as school administrators admit.
They out of water. They don't have any water.
Okay, yeah, don't worry about it. I take the ice. Give me the ice. The water. Yeah, I'm good. The water. You got anything else back there? Ginger ale, anything? Yeah, just throw some water. Yeah, just throw some ginger ale or something in there. Thank you. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, you might have lost him a little. Did you get it? I'm sorry you died. Go ahead. Sorry about that. I ain't saying
as school administrators admit that they have been unable to fire him while at the same time refusing to provide details about specific events. According to a report from the Tampa Bay Times, school administrators have an extensive file of complaints lodged against Todd Harvey.
And did they say they did not fire him?
Said they're unable to. That's a strong union.
Unable to fire.
Hardcore. That's like the FOP. That's
right.
A strong union they got out there.
Man. Go ahead.
Khan. They have an extensive file of complaints lodged against Todd Harvey, who has taught government studies at Warrenton High in Tampa who has even allegedly used a Nazi salute in class.
Damn, he ain't even hiding. He ain't even hiding that he's a Nazi. Go ahead.
Honorable Khan, as the Times report, Harvey is a tall, mercurial white man who has taught in Hillsborough County public schools since the late 90s. After working as a salesman and briefly pitching in the minor leagues for the Kansas City Royals, he spent the bulk of his career at Walton High, which serves mostly students of color. Reacting to Tampa Bay Times report about sexual harassment at a local high school in Hillsborough County, one former student who is biracial contacted the papers about the teacher who mocked her family and claimed she used to list herself on government forms as a mutt.
And y'all mad at us. He's the one teaching your kids, and you mad at us. You mad at what we do. And he's sitting there teaching your kids straight up a Nazi. And I don't know what you expect he's actually teaching them. Like, he in the inner city, he probably loves it. He probably loves that job. He'll stay on that job till retirement. He get to go in there and humiliate you. You know what I mean? Your kids, they young. You know what I'm saying? Learning. He get to go in there and talk to them like they dirt. And they can't fire him. And the more incidents he gets away with, the more he gets to expand. This is a joke. It's a joke, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we don't respect y'all out there. We don't respect you because you're not willing to build anything for brothers and sisters. You ain't willing to bring nobody together. You're not willing to come up off your stance. You ain't willing to do none of that. It's all right, though. We'll do it ourselves. We'll handle it ourselves. And you're going to see it when it comes to its full power. You're gonna see that blacks and Latinos ain't gonna be in need of nothing from Esau. They ain't gonna be in need of nothing from Esau. And that's supposed to be the mission. Listen, Esau's whole mission is to keep you oppressed and gobble up everything you have. Your whole mission is supposed to be to get him off of you and gobble up everything he got. You understand? That's why the whole immigration thing blew back up, because the Latinos were having so many children. They knew eventually the Latinos would become the majority in America. So the Edomites going crazy now. Okay? It's lucky. Y'all want to keep on going?
Up to the next one.
Let's keep going.
Let's
go to the next story, right?
South Carolina teacher accused of assault on black honor student who didn't recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's the story? Please read on. This story here cracked me up. Go ahead.
The family of a 15-year-old South Carolina honor roll student who alleged she was assaulted for not reciting the Pledge of Allegiance is taking legal action, the state reports.
That's full out Nazi Germany. It's full out brown shirts. Right or wrong? The Hitler Youth. You don't salute, like, she's an honor student. But you don't salute, you don't pledge that to that flag. She take you out the hallway from commence to whooping your behind. Go ahead, give us more. Let the generals jump in.
Colonel Khan, Marissa Barnwell, a black student at a predominantly white River Bluff High School, alleges she was in a hallway headed on her way to class when she heard the Pledge of Allegiance on the school's intercom, the report said. Barnwell allegedly refrained in a non-disruptive manner to acknowledge the pledge as she walked into her classroom, the report citing the lawsuit. Livingston proceeded to bring Barnwell to the principal's office for disciplinary action. Red Bluff High School principal Jacob Smith told Barnwell that he would review video footage of the incident before sending her back to class, according to the report. The lawsuit filed February 13th alleges Barnwell's teacher, Nicole Livingston, pushed Barnwell against a wall after demanding that she acknowledge the pledge, the report says.
Now, she couldn't take it that the principal wanted to review it. That was too much time. That wasn't enough. It wasn't enough justice in that one. So she threw her up against the wall for not, she brought her own justice for not reciting it. You got more. Like, for not reciting it. Like, this is Nazi Germany.
God. They're going to say, Johanna went through something with one of his teachers in high school.
about sitting down during the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, I forget what he told me. I forget the details, but he said she ain't get coming right with his grades or doing something, and she always mad at him about not pledging the goddamn allegiance.
Right.
I lost my mind. I think I must have CC'd every teacher in the school and blazed on this one teacher, and she would not call me back. Eventually, Edomite man called me back, calm me down. He said, "Please, we're handling it. It's calm down. I know it was a misunderstanding. It was a whole goddamn mess, but I wanted everybody to know about this war.
God.
Because I told him I'll be up there. That's gonna be in your face.
Yeah, right.
So he held his ground, you know.
God. Go ahead, you want to. I got it. Go ahead, you want to. Try to recruit you into the Nazi youth, huh? Try to make a brown shirt out of you. He said, "Hell no." You know, man. And y'all, I was just gonna say real quick, General, and y'all mad at us. And look how the brothers in here raising their sons. They raising their sons up not to be like your Christians are in the church. They raising up warriors up in here. And them sons is growing up and they not pledging no allegiance. We ain't doing Nazi Germany again. We ain't doing that. Like, that's why them kids all caught up. Because they not in, their parents ain't in here learning the truth and spreading it out to their children. Instead, they being taught to be compliant to them people. Salahi, go ahead.
I was going to just back you up and give you some absolute proof that it's just like Nazi Germany. This is a movie. This is pre-color. So this is like 1930, 1929.
Can you play it?
Geez, I can't call it. This is from 1929. This is the original Pledge of Allegiance. The way that only your great-grandparents could remember it. I don't know if we can play it. I can find a picture if you would like.
You probably got to go with a picture. So
I'll find it, sir. No sweat.
Because okay, but get me right on this.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, they had to do it like
that's the original.
The original one, they had to throw the arm.
The original is, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Yeah.
That's the original.
Yeah.
They changed that after World War II.
Yeah.
Because
they had beat the Nazis.
Yeah.
Right. But even after World War II, you still had to do this.
Leave it here, but
they
it started like boom.
Yeah, we used to be that. Then they just said, all right, we're gonna just stop here. You still had to halfway it. You know what I'm saying?
If that helps.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. No, that's it. Like that's straight up indoctrination. And here's what, if I could, here's what's crazy about it. The United States Constitution is based and designed for you to be in opposition of the government to keep the government in check. The whole point of it is so that you keep the government in check. But meanwhile, Trump changed all of that. Now you don't keep the government in check. Now you get it down with the government, or you know, he ready to get you out the country.
I was looking at the story the other day. It says pro-white educators will be paid to teach neo-Nazi ideology to young homeschoolers under Ohio's new proposed law.
All that marching. That's a lot of marching.
That's a lot of marching.
Yeah. That's a lot of marching.
Yeah.
A lot of hurt feet.
For nothing.
And listen, I listen to what GEN.YAHANNA said, right? I remember when I did it with my kids. I remember the teacher asked me, well, what do we do? What can we do? I don't want to offend you. I said, they not pledging allegiance to nothing. And that's it. When I asked them to stand for nothing, they ain't doing it. And one day, I dropped them off at school. He was young. This is when Badaya and when I was like in maybe, I'm going to say 6th grade, 4th grade, somewhere around there. So I said, I dropped them off at school. I said, I'm going to wait and see. And they did the bell, and all the kids did this here. And I did like this here, look. And my daughter like this here. Stand there, hand down to the side. Look at my son, he did the same exact thing. I said, yeah, that's damn right. You know what I mean? Listen, the truth, like how the Lord said, it was going to set you free. But you got to have the heart to really live this truth. You can't talk about this here. This ain't just talk. You got to live it. And you got to show your kids how to live the exact same truth, man. That's how it's supposed to be done. Why do y'all hate Christianity? Because you see the hypocrisy in the Christians. You go to church, they say one thing, but you see them doing the next. You understand? They say don't do X, Y, Z, but everybody in the church in the basement having sex. Everybody know about it. You understand? So this ain't that here in the UPK. This is, you're going to do what the Lord say do, and the whole earth will see you doing it. In the story. That's it. Simple. You understand? Stop.
No, damn right. And Christianity today is really, it's not even, it's the ideology of America.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to church from your youth up and you stay in church, you're gonna be the best American you could be. Right or wrong. That's what you're gonna learn how to be. You're gonna be that. You're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna take every aspect of it, including hating black people. Even though you black, you're gonna still hate black people. You're gonna still hate Latinos. Like, you're gonna be everything America wants you to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
If I could, John, one more thing. When my oldest boy went to college, and he went to Valley Forge Military Academy, right? And they were trying to get him to shave, right? And I had to visit him when he first got there. I sent him a letter, an official letterhead, and said about him shaving. They left it alone. A new commandant came in, right? And he went and reviewed everybody and wanted him to shave. So he called me, you know, something. I said, no problem. Someone give me a call, right? I submitted another one. So he called me. He said, hey, how you doing? Something, this, another. And I said, how you doing? He said, yeah, I'm calling about your son, the grooming standards and this, that, and other. You know, I see that you was in, you know, he found out I was in the I.S.U.P.K military too, and he was asking the same thing in the I.S.U.P.K military. I said, yeah. I said, well, that's not how we live. He said, well, how did you fare when you were in the military? How did you get away from the grooming standards? I said, well, when I was in the I.S.U.P.K military, I didn't know what I know now. So I did what he said in the military. I said, but now I do know. And this is my heritage, my right. And my son is not going to shave his face. That's it. It's simple. That's our rights. I sent you the letter, and I don't think we got much more to talk about. He said, you know what? You're right, Mr. Owens. Left me alone, and that was it. Done deal. Okay. Done deal. You know what I mean? You got to stand on what the Lord said stand on. That's the issue. You got to stand on it. It ain't really hard. The hard part, stand on it. You got to stand on it. That's all. Simple. Stand on it. Live it. And you'll be all right. Lord be with you.
Right, no compromise. Man.
No compromise, you know.
You die?
Southern Poverty Law Center lawyer arrested, charged with domestic terrorism and Atlanta cop city attack.
He attacked an Atlanta cop? There you go.
A lawyer from the Southern Poverty Law Center was arrested and charged with domestic terrorism over the violence that broke out in Atlanta on Sunday in relation to a protest of a planned training facility for police officers in the city.
When the last time y'all been arrested for domestic terrorism?
Never, sir.
Never. But according to him, you an extremist group. Meanwhile, he out there throwing Molotov cocktails in Atlanta at the police training facility. Give us a little more if you could, you die. Like, this is a joke, which once again shows you all they did was really perform terrorism against us. All they did was perform defamation against us. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't never been arrested for domestic terrorism. Go ahead, I bet you he ain't on no watch list.
Come. An employee at the Southern Poverty Law Center was arrested while acting and identifying as a legal observer on the behalf of the nation's National Lawyers Guild, the NLG. The employee is an experienced legal observer, and their arrest is not evidence of any crime, but of heavy-handed law enforcement intervention against protesters. The Southern Poverty Law Center said in a statement Monday. Thomas Webb Jurgens was among the listed 23 suspected domestic terrorists released by the Atlanta Police Department on Monday. Violence broke out in Atlanta on Sunday after protesters planned a police training facility, hurled bricks and Molotov cocktails at officers, and set cars on fire. The Atlanta Police Department revealed all the suspects are from out of state or from another country, except for two, including Jurgens.
So that's his hometown. He over there burning up cars and throwing Molotov cocktails in his own town.
Like if I could, that's how they do. Like they come from out of town, and get together. But when they come in town, everybody know they coming. If this cat's supposed to be just a journalist, why he ain't hooked up with them? You understand? The cops know. Like they do research, so they know who these cats are coming to incite riots and they locations. They know. They got the files and records on them, and he get locked up.
And observers don't do that.
No.
Observers don't throw. Observing means watching. Doesn't mean throwing over. That's not observing right there. You're doing a little bit more than that if you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now that training facility has really got people upset because they built a city. Y'all familiar with it? Built a little city out there, I heard. They're gonna be running indoor, kicking indoors, and you know, playing. Probably got loudspeakers playing. Bad boy, what you gonna do? As they run on down the damn street, kicking your door. They're gonna have a good time on that training facility. Come down on ropes. They're gonna really act a fool up in that training facility, which they worried about it because they know their people. It's mainly Edomites protesting it too, because they know when them Edomites get on the street, everything they doing in that little fake city is about to happen in the real city.
Yeah.
And it would make so much sense because, of course, look at Atlanta. And let me tell you something else too. Okay, they building that training facility because they know what's getting ready to happen. Like they being told, listen, go build this city and train your people. Because in about 2 seconds, you're about to have 3 million black people starving to death in Atlanta, Georgia. And they're gonna have to be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be a mess. They know already. They getting information from the White House, information from on high, telling them, listen, this is what's getting ready to happen. This is how it's getting ready to unfold. So prepare yourself. And that's how they're trying to prepare.
If I could say one thing,
please.
Was there more you died? If I could say one thing, the Southern Poverty Law Center, of course, for those of them that don't know, they paint Commanding General Yohanna and the I.S.U.P.K. a hate group because we speak against oppression out on the street corners of America, because we uphold the freedom of speech while other people put it down and acquiesce to white oppression. We stepped up and said the things that preachers refuse to say. And so because of that, we're a hate group. Meanwhile, the Southern Poverty Law, what is it anyway? Southern Poverty.
This is a private information. It's a private information. Really, okay, here's what it really is the so-called Jew created the Southern Poverty Law Center basically to categorize and publish all the groups that they believe hate Jews. That's basically what it is. It's basically a watchdog group so that everybody could be informed. And they expanded into, like, they doing all kind of surveillance, hacking, they send undercovers now in. They doing all of that now. And there's a regular, this ain't even no agency or nothing. And then they gather all that information up, and then they go liaison it to some police agency, hoping to get somebody arrested. They basically super snitches. That's basically what they are. Basically, they spy on everybody just to find out who's hating them, and then go try to get them arrested or disrupt whatever they're doing, that type of thing.
If I could, sir. And okay, they're another perfect example of black people trusting some organization or some law that they think is going to benefit them because they're the Southern Poverty Law. So we as black people back in the 60s assumed they were going to help us with the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
They were going to help us in Mississippi. And then before you know it, this law, this organization is just turned on us. And it happens every single time, just like minority, any law for minorities.
Yep.
Every law for minorities was what the Chinese and the Vietnamese used to take neighborhoods in a black community, because guess what? And in America, they're the minority to black people. So if some law is to help minorities, the Bureau to help minorities, well, it's more black people in America than it is Koreans.
That's right.
And Vietnamese. So they are going to get all of the help, while we think this law to help minorities is going to help us. It is not. It's going to help our oppressor, is going to help Vietnamese people, is going to help someone else. We trust it because preachers tell you this is a win. The Southern Poverty Law Center is a win. The Minority Housing Association, the Minority Business Association. This is a win, and it's never a win. It's just another weapon to oppress us. So, like,
if I could add to what you're saying, because what you're saying is, give it up, yo. Like, what you're saying is so, I mean, it's true. Like, I can't even explain. Okay, the agency, they got an agency whose job it is to help you through the welfare system. And meanwhile, it only helps Edomites from other countries. Black people don't even know about it. Black people got to go down to the welfare office. But they got an agency out that will put you through the whole system. You don't even got to leave your house. You don't even got to speak English. They send the person that speaks that language to your house. They do all the paperwork in your language at your house. They come back, file the papers through the system you never even see inside the building. All of a sudden, that they come and send you a card or mail you the card. You got the damn EBT card. You know, you can't read what's on the card. You coming from another country. Like, just like what you're saying. That's exactly what they do with all of that, with the housing, with all of that. What a lot of people don't know is before black people lived in the projects, all these projects around this country, before black people lived in the projects, Jews were in those projects, believe it or not. Way back in the 40s and 50s, Jews were in those projects because they were importing them over here after the so-called war with Germany, after World War II. And they were building housing for them. And they had already housed them and all of that. And then, of course, once they got up and prospered and the civil rights movement passed, they gobbled up all of the benefits of the civil rights movement. And we ended up, of course, in the projects, just like you saying. It's so many times that happens, which is why we got to turn to Yahawashi. Trying to turn to this place is a joke.
Yeah.
We got to turn to Yahawashi and have him fix this thing, man. And it's going to be right when it gets fixed. And it's happening around us anyway. Man, what's going on in the world is a beautiful thing. Salaki, I'm done.
If I should go to the Latino story with the brothers flooding over the thing now.
Come. Border crisis. Over 1,000 migrants rush bridge linking Mexico to U.S. and El Paso, Texas video.
These are brothers, I believe, from Venezuela. I believe they're Russian. And Fox News, of course, is, paper in the walls with the damn thing. Because there's thousands of Latinos flooding across the border, trying to get in, starving to death, needing help. And once again, there are so many laws that have been passed that are supposed to help them, but they help the Russians and the Ethiopians, and the Ukrainians. And that's why there's no flood of Ukrainians breaking down walls and busting in the country, because they're ushered in, because they make a way for them like they did the Italians and the Irish on Ellis Island. There was no videos of Irish people breaking down things because the Irish were ushered right into the country, helped into the country like guests. But of course, when it comes to the Latinos, all the laws that are supposed to help them. And Mexico has a favored nation status with America. Mexico is not some country in Europe. Mexico is a neighbor. Mexico is like Canada.
Right.
You don't even need a damn passport to go to Mexico.
That's right.
It is a favored ally of America. And meanwhile, if you are from Latin America, you got to break down the door and bust in the country because they won't let you in. But the Irish are brung over here and given gift baskets.
That's right.
And the people from overseas in the Ukraine and Russia, where do all these Russians come from? Jesus Christ. The Afghanistanians, they're enemies of America. Yeah. They murder American soldiers, and they're brung over here with gift baskets, and they create neighborhoods overnight. That's right. They take over Detroit. Yep. Those people in Detroit are from Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Libya. They are literally enemies of America.
That's right.
Literally. And they flood Detroit, take over neighborhoods. But meanwhile, our brothers, our Latino brothers, have to commit crime to flee poverty and oppression. They got to go and, commit a crime and break into America because, of course, the laws passed for them are being used by somebody else.
That's right. That's right. Can I just backtrack
Please.
on what you mentioned earlier one more time, if I could, like another little example, if I could, on what you said, which was so important. Rodney King, right? They had the riots in L.A. and when Rodney King got beat, the cops got off, right? Burned up half of L.A. The government issued millions of dollars to rebuild. Plus, they had a ton of programs, you know, build parks and, you know, I mean, they just poured money in there. If you go over there now, all that money went into the Korean area. And that was the area that was shooting at us.
That's right.
Little Korea, they used to just have food trucks damn near, food trucks and little hardware stores. You go over there now, they got high-rise buildings and everything. They got a whole economic neighborhood. And I told you, I was particularly pissed off when I saw that video where that Mexican brother came, he in LA, he go over by the Korean area with a food cart selling hot dogs or something. Yo, and them Koreans went off on him. They went, what the hell are you doing over here? This Koreatown. Yes. To where other Koreans came out their window and was yelling at them, yo, leave him alone. Yo, leave him alone. Meanwhile, they was running him out of, kicking his cart, all of that. Wanted him to get the hell out of the damn neighborhood. And this is in Koreatown in Los Angeles. I was like, dang, show you let the heathens come in and they eat us alive. And this ain't new. This went on in ancient Egypt. So all them programs that they issued out after the riots really never went to black people. And only now is LA trying their best to make a comeback, because they let the LA descend into hell after that. I mean, LA went boof, went into the ground. And now it's coming back a little bit, but go through Little Korea now. They call it Koreatown or something like that. And they doing absolutely amazing. They got terraced, apartment buildings with terraces on them and restaurants. And, they got whole food truck parks. They used to just have food trucks on the street. Now they got food truck parks where you go in the park and there's a bunch of food trucks in the park. You can eat all kinds of Asian food, and they got tourism going on and all that over there. Meanwhile, the ones that was on the other side who was angry over being beat by the cops, we still over there starving. We got poor leadership. No, strike that. We got horrible, evil leadership.
Yeah, right, John.
Worst of the bunch, man. Talked about in Deuteronomy 33. Salakia. I'm done. Good. Salakia. Damn right.
You want to say something, you done?
I'm going to say what y'all bringing out, sir, is so heavy. Commander Gen.YAHANNA. When I see this, sir, I see 1,000 of our Issacharite and Asher brothers, wanting to come over here to the so-called land of the free. And I just think back on how they let 1,000 Afghanistanis come over here and stay in Airbnbs and hotels. And then I think about, them 1,000 Haitian brothers and sisters that got whipped on horseback, as I see them barricades, as I see the mob squad coming out there to push our people back. That's why I say Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander Gen.YAHANNA, sir. Because we actually give a damn about Black Latinos, Native American Indians, sir. So look.
Listen, you so right. The Afghanistanians came over here. Do you know that the State Department put together a welcome team? They had a welcome team. Black people was on it too. To where they was coming off the plane and they was out there with flowers and music, welcoming them off the plane. But what was even worse, in my opinion, what was just amazing was, did y'all see the footage of when the Ukrainians were coming across the border and they had separated the two lines? Brother, at the border, they had a Latino line and a Ukrainian line. And brother, the Ukrainians was going right through. Meanwhile, the Latino line was long as your eye could see. But the Ukrainian line, they going right through. And listen, not only was they going through, but they had a seating area for them. Like after they came through, they had a whole area where they was able to sit down and relax and wait for the Border Patrol to go through their paperwork. And you should have seen the Border Patrol. You know what was so beautiful about it, though? them brothers, those is brothers too, most of them down there on that border patrol. And they've been treating the Latino brothers bad.
That's right.
You saw the way they dealt with that Haitian brother, was trying to whip him and curse him out for food, over food. And they've been treating them Latino brothers bad. But when they had to let the Ukrainians come through, they felt their brotherhood there. It was like the Ukrainians was coming in, and it was like they didn't know how to handle it, because they was told, let them come through. And then you could see it in their face. Their face start changing. They start looking at their people. They start seeing, dang, I've been treating them bad, but I got to let them through. I can't say nothing to them. And then they start picking up. You could tell, you could see the confusion was coming on them, because, of course, then they really realized who they working for. They really realized who was you. Oh, yeah, you got some photos up. I mean, they came through, brother, like it was okay. Look at it. Had all setups, had food waiting for them. Meanwhile, the Latino brothers and sisters was in the sun with their kids. Hot sun, lined up against a hot gate. And they all sitting up there leaning over damn near, while the Ukrainians, excuse me, working their way through the damn border, man. Free and clear. Salaki, I didn't mean to get off the story.
No, that's on the story. That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Go. Good day. Is it too early? Seem right. Okay. If I could say one last thing about this, then, sir, if I could, just with your permission, just dispel the great myth of the immigration story in America. The immigration story in America is every year, forever, since what, the 70s, since whenever, Hispanics start to, Latinos start to come to America. Here's the great myth. There is room in America for everybody. They should just all come in. Just if America had any sense or any kindness, they would just let them all in, because there is an abundance of space in America. There's damn near nobody here.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no one here. I drive by in Philadelphia. There's whole high school's empty.
That's right.
There ain't nobody in that high school. It's sitting there. Yeah. There's space. The middle of the country is just no one. It's just no one there. In the middle of the country, there's people here, people there, and no one anywhere else.
You go 10 minutes outside of any major
10
city.
minutes.
It is nothing but wood.
What is the problem? Just let them in. Just treat it like you did Ellis Island. Just bring me your poor, your wretched, your soul seeking to be free. Just let them. I'll make it more simpler. Treat them like they're white and let them in. Treat Latinos like they're white and let them in the country. That is the obvious solution to the immigration problem. That's right. Sir.
And if I could,
please.
All right, if I could just add to what you're saying on why we have an immigration problem. We have an immigration problem. It's real simple. The reason we have an immigration problem in the United States is because the Republicans will not pass any immigration reform laws. And the reason they won't do that is because, of course, the bulk of the Latinos are going to vote Democratic. Mm-hmm. Basically, if they open up that border, that's the end of the Republican Party, because all those Latinos are going to come in, and of course, they're going to go Democratic. And so this stays an endless fight. The Republicans block them. The Democrats try to go around the law with different laws to try and let them in. The Republicans stop them on different voting laws. The Democrats try to create a law. And that's why Donald Trump ran everyone out he could. I mean, he tried to get every black and Latino out of this country that was not a U.S. citizen. Them ICE agents ran them out by the truckload. And that was to bolster the Republican Party. So really, this is just a political football, and they don't care what happens to these people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, the reason they at that border, it's another thing that don't come out. The reason they at that border is because of the policies that's being done in their countries by the United States. As simple as that. Like, what they like you said, they should just open up the border, because you bombing their countries, you taking over their wealth, then they should be able to just come into the country and, you know, participate. And like you said, brother, it's so much that could be built. There's plenty of land out here. I mean, it is land. You go 30 minutes into the woods, Doc, you meeting lions and, you know, mountain lions and 800-pound bears. You know, go ride an hour into, you know, straight north or straight south or wherever. You running into bears and snakes and cougars, and you are all in the woods now. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. So just to add to what you were saying, son.
You got it. There's not one more though, you die?
Oh, come on.
Go ahead.
Colin Kaepernick says his white adopted parents perpetuated racism and anti-blackness. You look like a little thug.
I didn't know, but Colin Kaepernick, he must have been adopted by some Edomites.
Okay.
And they raised him, and that's what they said to him. He brought that out this week.
Okay.
Go ahead, explain a little more, you there?
Khan. Athlete turned activist Colin Kaepernick is opening up about his upbringing in a new graphic novel called Change the Game. While promoting the book, he's also dishing on how Rick and Teresa Kaepernick, his adopted parents who are white, perpetuated anti-blackness and put him through very problematic things. Colin's commentary came by the way of a sit-down with CBS. During his interview, the former 49ers quarterback acknowledged how his parents, who had been in his life since he was only 5 weeks old, love him dearly. However, their biracial adopted son, nonetheless, still went through a very problematic things growing up. As a result, Colin noted that it's important to show how some of these experiences, which included his parents' pushback against him embracing his blackness, played out.
I'm sorry, was there more? If I could, sir, this highlights another hidden point about people in society. So many people think because you have a black wife or a black husband or you're raising black children that you're not racist.
Right.
Like, that is a gigantic myth. There are so many interracial couples that where that woman is being called nigger every night.
Right.
Or that man who's married to that white woman, every time they get in an argument, it becomes a race war in the home. Being married to someone outside your race does not mean you're not racist. That's because you'll stick your penis in a white woman or you'll let a black man in your vagina. It does not mean you don't hate black people.
Right.
And Colin Kaepernick is trying to tell you that. These people adopted a black child and they still hate black people. Like, so, and it's kind of counterintuitive. Like, you think, well, they got a black child, surely they must love black people. No, they don't. Even though they adopt one. Sir.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say it is so deep what you're saying, because the majority of them adopt a black child to raise a non-black child. Like they this be like an experiment. Like they gonna get a black child and make sure he's raised not a nigger. That's a lot.
I think that's what he's saying. Because he said you look like a little thug, meaning they're trying to raise a good one.
Yes. Like they want to prove that it's not them. They want to prove that
places.
Yeah. They want to prove that what the way we're acting in the hood is not a result of them. Right. And the proof is supposed to be this little black child. But when he gravitates to his black culture, it becomes a problem. So now they got to cut that culture off so that he don't, which is a mess. And if I could, that happened to somebody very famous in the scriptures. Okay, that's exactly what happened to Moses.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And Moses did exactly what he did. Yes, Moses rejected the Egyptian lifestyle and went and sought out his brother. I'm sure the Egyptians was like, you know what I mean? I'm sure the Egyptians was like, you trying to be a thug. You know what I'm saying? And he got away from that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, when a nation has your nation in slavery, they looking for a way to not have the guilt of having destroyed your people. Yeah. And in their mind, the way to eliminate that guilt is to turn around and raise one of your children, in a good and successful way. He became a football star. He became a quarterback. So in their mind, we did a good job. But he had to reveal you really didn't. Really, you try to beat my blackness out of me to be successful, and it hurt. And that's exactly what happened. Remember, the scripture said Moses was taught in all the ways of the Egyptians. So they put him in the best schools, educated him on the Egyptian ways, did all that trying to make a good Hebrew. This was going to be, you know, a good one. And meanwhile, he turned on him. And he turned on him because that same spirit of the Lord that made him turn on the Edomites. And another thing, too, that they don't understand. When they bring in that black child, he gets an inside view of their world. And he learns more about the evil that they do than we do. You know what I mean? He's sitting up at the top of the... You're not going to tell me them Edomites did not have Edomites come over the house and look at him like he was filth because they adopted him and brought him in here. Like they brought trash in it. Like you bring a stray cat in.
Just like a stray cat.
Just like a stray cat. They looked at him like a stray cat. Probably said all kinds of racist, evil things to him. So he got an inside view. That's why it's so wrong, if I could, for these celebrities to sit up there and perpetrate the same lie. Like, it's good he's coming out with it, but really, this should have come out a long time ago. Because these celebrities act like, you know, they all about, you know, pro-black and all of that. But really, you ain't, to really be pro-black, you should be exposing what's really going on in your lives in that wealth. Them football players, man, and them, man, they treated like garbage. They treated like slaves. Right. Remember they did they had that interview. Somebody pulled up an old interview of that brother that's on the Breakfast Club.
Charlemagne?
Yeah, that's his name. They pulled up an old interview of him. And brother, it was so sad, the interview, because the brother ain't say nothing really wrong, but you could tell when the issue of Jews came up, brother, he ran from the issue like he was terrorized. He was scared to death to even talk about it for fear of the retribution that he could have received. And once again, that doesn't get seen. That doesn't get told. Like black people, once again, who knew that all this time Kanye West was being managed by these people? And that the way they were managing him, like he didn't have an opinion. Another one, Cardi B. Did y'all see that tape that she made where they asked her a question? It was all over TikTok. Where they asked her a question. They said, do you like it more now that you wealthy and famous or when you was poor? And she said, well, really, I liked it better when I didn't have nothing. And I was shocked to hear her say that. And she was like, yeah, when I didn't have nothing, I could say what I want. I could have my opinion. Nobody telling me what I can and can't say. And the way she was talking was like, I can't say and do what I want to do. There's too much money on the table here and too many people controlling me. But before I became famous, I could just be myself. Now I can't really be myself. Okay. And that's the part that nobody's saying. For their own success, they smile to the camera, but what you don't realize behind the scenes, they in absolute hell and being controlled by these people and being terrorized by these people. And that doesn't help us. That hurts us. That makes us have hope in something that's such a lie.
If I could, you know, what you're saying happened. That's true, you know. I never forget it. One day I was working when I was on this slave I had when I was working as law enforcement, and we ran up on a job, and the job was all kind of messed up. And I'm snapping because they locked up the wrong cat. You know what I mean? And trying to lock him up. We should be locking up that bouncer that hit that woman. And I'm saying it out loud, and brothers was like, yo, man, be cool. Like, slow down. Like, don't say nothing. If you know what's wrong, man, what you gonna do, man? I said, what the F you mean we gonna do? I said, listen, man, whatever. I got out my car, and I'm on the train, and I grabbed him. He said, what? I said, turn around. He didn't want to turn around, so I flipped him, put him in the chicken wing, put him in my handcuffs. Threw one on him. My sergeant jumped on me quick, and I looked at the sergeant. I said, he getting locked up. What you gonna do? I'm locking him up. He should have put his hands on that woman. I don't care what's going on. I got in so much trouble over that. He was totally wrong. But the problem was that everybody that was of color that was there was against what I was doing and was trying to get me to capitulate with it, even though they knew all that was wrong. Nobody wanted to say nothing. oh, we know it's messed up. Oh, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that. And some things happened because of it. I didn't care because I knew what was right and what was wrong, and I wanted to stand on it. But they want me to say nothing. You gotta be quiet. You can't see nothing. You can't do that. Man. You know we can't do that. What you doing, man? You know how I go, man. I wasn't trying to hear that.
What you saying, bro? Give it up for ours. What you saying? Let me tell you something. That's the main thing I hated about being in the world. I hated that about I hated working with brothers who would turn on you in the drop of a dime. Who, and who was so scared of the master when he came that you could not do nothing. You couldn't do nothing. You could not that I wanted to do something nefarious, but the fact that even if it was right, like in your case, even if it was right, they'd be the one to turn on. You know what I'm saying? Which is why the truth is such a blessing that we in here, because in here we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? In here we down with us. Like out there, you're gonna be on that job, brother, and it's gonna be another brother that be the one that turn on you the minute the heat comes. And part of it is because so much of what we get and have is nothing. Like so much of what we have is so little that we willing to compromise ourselves just to get a little bit more. And boy, you be on the job, brother, and if there's any pressure, brothers is gonna turn their back on you in a second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're gonna fold.
Yeah.
They're gonna fold.
You die? You die? I think we can go to the Oscars now.
Oh,
Comic-Con.
Unless we have another one. Is that it?
I mean, we can go to the Oscars, sir.
Okay.
Unless you want to do
Dwayne Wade, if I could. Dwayne Wade.
Let's do it. Something else happened.
Of course. Dwayne Wade, he can't stop. Go ahead.
Comic-Con. Dwayne Wade praised his daughter Zaya after her runway debut at Paris Fashion Week.
This is sad, isn't it?
This is such a joke.
If I could, sir. Let me make it's stupid to even call it a prophecy because it's obvious. Dwayne Wade is going to transition into a woman.
Cool.
It ain't even prophetic. It's just really having eyes, right? He is going to transition into a woman. He's going to divorce Gabrielle Union. That is on its way, running here fast. He's going to divorce Gabrielle Union, and he is Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is so jealous of that son/daughter that he has. He is jealous of her, and he is absorbing his son's fame. It reminds me so much of Bruce Jenner with those Kardashians. Every time I see it, I can see when Bruce Jenner had to get on that reality show, and the Kardashians were going down the fashion aisles. What's that thing called? The runways, going down the runways, on the covers of magazines. And Bruce Jenner was always there, kind of supportive, but jealous and wishing he was the prettiest girl in the room. And then he just divorced his wife, and he became a Kardashian.
Damn.
And Dwayne Wade is going to transition into womanhood. He's going to divorce Gabrielle Union, and now he's going to be the prettiest girl in the room because he is jealous of this little boy. And furthermore, how do women let these men take all their jobs? For the life of me, women battle every day about equality in the workforce. Right. That's constantly on TV. The women need equality in the workplace. Men get paid more money than women. What has he done to be in a Paris fashion show? Has he been modeling since he was 12? Those little girls who are models, their feet hurt because they've been breaking their feet, cramming their feet in tiny ballet slippers since they're 9, since they're 10 years old, walking the runway with the books on top of the damn head, walking and hurting their backs. By the time they get 20, their backs are shot because they've been modeling and walking since they're 9 just so they can make it to the Paris runway. This cat puts on a dress last year, and he is on the Paris runway today. Where are the women's groups fighting for equal opportunity for women in the workplace? He's taken all of your jobs. These men dressed like women, these transgenders, are going to take every job from a woman. It is, you can't miss it. It is obviously about to happen.
I wouldn't play the video if I would. You're right. But I mean, you could play that still shot. I mean, that's a joke. Listen, and the thing is, this ain't a little boy. Like, this is a athlete son.
Yeah.
So he's big and broad, and they trying to make him
He's
a
point guard. He's a point guard.
A point guard trying to be a debutante. You know what I mean? He's damn near 6 feet already, trying to be, you know, a ballerina. It's a joke. It's a joke.
All those little girls, man, I feel sorry for you. All those little girls who practice so hard to make it to Paris. They work so hard. They practice so hard.
You know how many competitions they have to be in? How many they have to win?
It's just sad for little girls. I mean, thank God for Commander General Yohanna and the UPK
Right.
fighting for women.
A lot of you have
fighting for women.
Damn right. Like, this is a joke. Look at that, brother. Look at it. Look at that full out man neck. You got a full out man neck.
Look how he walk all lumbering down there like a point guard.
Right.
Lumbering. Right. He lumbering down the aisle like this shit here.
Yeah.
Lumbering down the fucking down the aisle. Excuse me.
He comes down the aisle like he coming for a fight.
Yeah.
He's trying to
but he's being girl.
But it's coming out like
That reminded me of that video years ago. This big giant Edomite come in this convenience store with a skirt on, right? Come in, Adam's apple, giant Adam's apple skirt on, half a beard, right? He come in, and the guy and the clerk said, "Can I help you, sir?" He said, "What'd you call me?" With the man voice. Wait, he said, "I said, can I help you, sir?" I said, "Sir." I'm not a sir. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." Oh, he did it. And he said, "You started good. Call me that again. I'm a woman." And stormed out of there mad and strong. I said, "This is insanity."
It's okay. It's like, if you don't call him man, he's gonna break your ribs and break your jaw. He's a man.
Call me a sir again. I'll rip your head off and shake down your neck.
It'll make you brain. You're going nuts.
Call me Susie or I hurt you.
My name's Laura.
The sad thing.
Oh man. And that sends such a signal to young boys. That's so evil. Like, the signal is you dress up like a woman and you're gonna go places.
There you go.
You're gonna go. Like, go back to the picture with the Edomite if you could, Laurent. See that? That's the monster right there. Look at right next to him. That is the creature from hell. That's right next to him.
Is that the man or the woman? The Edomite.
That's the female, ain't it?
Oh no, not you. Come on, man.
You gotta go look it up because his boyfriend is a woman transitioning to a vice versa.
No, that's not.
That's an actual man.
What is it?
That's an actual man. That one.
Hey, that is psycho.
Yes.
Listen, and here's what's weird. I thought the purse, when I first saw the picture from here, I thought the purse was a football. It wasn't till Mirage zoomed in. It wasn't till Mirage. I didn't realize it. In the back of my mind, I didn't realize till Mirage just zoomed in now that it's a purse. It looked like a football. He's even like a football. Go ahead, you guys.
If I could piggyback what you're saying, sir, I thought it was football too.
You did too, right?
Still going to be going down to 30 yards.
Yes.
Or something.
I mean, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work, my man. It is not gonna work. Man.
So there you go. It's like, go ahead, you die. We do the Grammys now.
Look like a football. That's the same thing. That's what I thought. He clutching it like he's going in for the goal.
Look at that. Even the clothing look manly on him. Yeah, that's right. You know what? You right, Murat. You absolutely right. What a joke. You right. He got some shoulders on him too.
Lucky, sir.
Yeah.
If I couldn't, that Gabrielle Union act like that's her son. I found out this week that's not even Gabrielle Union's son.
No.
She act like, she's his champion.
Exactly.
That's not even her child. I just found that out.
Exactly. Destroying somebody else's kid.
You know.
If I may, sir, I believe we did the story. His actual mother was the one that was trying to fight against the transition.
I remember now. Ain't that something? Gabrielle Union on every show, like she's a champion,
Right. Like, why y'all don't love him? Nonsense. Meanwhile, this ain't even her kid. And of course, nobody interviewed the mother, the real mother.
Ain't that something?
Ain't nobody interviewed the real mother. Mariah, you was gonna say something, Slocky?
No, it's Slocky, sir. If I was saying the face that he was making or she was making, like cuts with the bag, it looked like he at the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's
what
I thought.
For a touchdown.
You know what I mean? I thought they was playing on the father's rep. I thought they was giving, even though it was the woman, I thought they was giving them the football to say, athlete, family, and all that. I mean, them some shoulders on that young brother. You ain't gonna tell me he wouldn't do good in high school. And like you said, Mariah, they had to put an oversized coat on him in an attempt to hide them broad shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Because I can guarantee you he's still training with his father, playing basketball every weekend.
You know, man. Right. The water.
Go ahead.
Might be getting them ready for the WNBA, like he died.
The championship. That's another thing that goes on every day in America. Transitional men competing in women's sports, and they're breaking every record.
Yes.
They're breaking every record and dominating women's sports. All of the records are being broken by transitioning men. Whatever the term is.
So you're gonna have men in men's sports and men in women's sports.
There you go.
I guess all you women going back home.
There you go. They're gonna be in the kitchen.
You'll be back in the kitchen. Yeah, man. Unless you like that grinder girl ready to cut them things off. Man. And even that one, I saw somebody talking about that picture with Kevin Durant. That picture put a little sugar on it, like little brought that little back like the demon. He lifted the demon off about 2 seconds. That was a good demon caught her off guard. She was like the demon got, you know what I'm saying? Show you that masculinity cast out demons on these broads, okay? You put that manhood on, brother. Like she can act like she want to be a dude, but nature is nature. You know what I mean? You can't get around that. You know what I mean?
You're done.
But as we all know, sir, the Oscars was yesterday, and Angela Bassett lost out, and she was visibly upset. Like visibly upset. Looked like the sister was going to break down because she didn't win the Oscar for Best Female Actress due to her performance in Black Panther.
And they said black people went crazy on social media.
Your dad was telling me. I didn't know.
It was like she had to win that. And I mean, her role wasn't that big or that good. She was better, in my opinion, in the first one.
I see what you said.
Than in this one. This one, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And here's the bigger problem. The bigger problem is these award shows are created by Edomites for Edomites. Like, we always upset that we ain't getting an award from them. We let them take over the Black Awards. Remember, it was one time that the Soul Train Awards was the awards.
Yes, yeah.
You got a Soul Train Award, it was like black people accepting you.
That's right.
Same with awards.
That's right.
If you want to be, I wouldn't play that footage if it was all right. Like, it was one time if you won the BET Awards, you felt like black people loved.
That's right.
But they took over those, and now you just at their behest. They damn near giving black people awards just to, make themselves not look racist. But really, they don't even want you at the Grammys, man. This is for them. This is for them to glorify themselves. You shining over the top of them already. Like you outdoing them in every arena there is. They want to take care of their people. And it shouldn't even matter to her, that award, or to us. You know what I mean? We should expect them to do that. And again, I don't know how great. Now, I will say this sister right here is a hell of an actress. Like she is I'm not taking that away from her. She is a hell of an actress. You know what I'm saying? And far as I know, y'all tell me different. She has never undignified herself in her acting. You know what I'm saying? Which is something I always appreciate. Even a lot of times it'd be the women who are into other women, it'd be them type of women who won't do that because of their desire for other women. But regardless of that, anytime I see a sister that will keep a little dignity in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? I always look at it as something great, you know what I'm saying? Something good, you know what I mean? Because that'll teach other young sisters that they don't have to take their clothes off. Yeah, right. And so she's a hell of an actress, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? This role wasn't, and the problem with it is, of course, the Wakanda movie being such an evil movie, I can't even see why our people are so hooked on her getting the award because you believe in the fake ass Wakanda. That's really why. You so upset she didn't get the Oscar, partly because you living in the fantasy world of the Wakanda, which is so evil for us. It's evil. I know a lot of you don't understand why I hate it so much. I get text messages and emails all the time. But that Wakanda movie is so evil towards us and who we are. And it is going to make you a slave of them Africans. I say it all the time. It's going to make you a slave. It's designed to enslave you under Africans. That's what it's designed to. That and the music they playing on rotation. They playing some horrible African songs on rotation. Even this church right here. There's a church right up the block. This used to be a black and white church. It used to be black people and white people all go to this church years ago. Now this church is almost all African with the white preacher. They're gonna get rid of him eventually too. But it's them, they're all African. So here it was, black people trying to get together with white people, spent the money and built this whole church up. They own a quarter of the block. And who knows what else they own around here. They built the whole church up. Now the Africans running the whole church. You understand? That's what you're doing to yourself. That's what this movie's doing to you. So, you know what I'm saying? Angela Bassett not winning that little cheesy award. What about all the movies she should have won the award for? They ain't give her that movie. I tell you, there was some movies she was, that movie where she played Tina Turner, brother. Did she get a Grammy for that? Or Oscar, or whatever it is that they giving out? Did them Edomites give her? Because, brother, she played the hell out of Tina Turner. Like them, even though they made Ike look like hell. But them times when she played against Ike, let me tell you something. Never won an Oscar for Tina Turner. She played the hell out of that role. Them times when Ike was beating on her, and them times when he was sexually assaulting her in the movie, brother, you could see the horror on her face. Like she brought that horror straight to her face. She should have definitely got an award for that. This, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. That was another great movie she played in.
He did not get an award for Malcolm X.
Imagine that. They gave him the award for Training Day.
Yeah.
Like, why would you respect them anymore? And why wouldn't you own your own network and you need a set of awards among you where they sit on the outside and you can give them an award once in a while. You give them a little, all right, we give you an award. So you could really understand what's going on. So there was a lot of movies that she played in, man, that was way better than the role she played in this movie. But you got that poison in you. And look at tons of the movies. I remember that was a sci-fi movie she was in. She played in a ton of movies and played good roles in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And what was it?
Too.
She was in this too.
Waiting to exhale. She was good in that. Too.
Waiting to exhale. That's right. Remember that? She the one that burnt up all
set
the
car
on fire.
Walked away from it like X-Man.
Yeah, like yeah. She played an evil ass monster in that one. You know what I mean? So she played in a lot of roles, man. But of course, we want her to win for the movie that we fantasize about because, of course, we brainwashed in this place. And brother, you know, I'm sorry, I don't feel a thing. And especially a movie where they destroyed the whole spirit on the sister. They made the sister like a you know, they changed her sexuality in this second movie. They went from totally feminine to totally masculine in her character. In, you know, the young girl, the one that played the Black Panther. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should mean more to us than just the award, because our culture and identity is on the line. They got their culture. This is America. They got a whole history of murder in the earth, and they cool with it. But we don't have our history. Ours was ripped from us. So all we have is what we build in here in America. So as we have what we build in here in America, we should be safeguarding ourselves over it. That's why the truth is, that's why I.S.U.P.K is so the bomb, because here's where you find your true identity. Sorry to burn the time on you, but here's where you find your identity at. You need all of that. All of that is what makes you whole. That's what's going to make you a whole person again. You need that identity. You need your history. That's why I thank the Most High and Yahweh our King that left us 4,000 years of history of us, so that we don't have to take on no history of no Egyptians or no what's the famous ones in Africa? The supposedly the Zulus. We ain't got to be Zulus. We ain't got to be Moors from Morocco. We ain't got to be Islamic from the Saudi Arabia. We ain't got to be none of those things, because we got our own identity. And that identity is important to us. You understand? Without it, here's the proof it's important. Because look what happens when you don't have an identity. Then anybody can make a movie and tell you that's you. Look, that's you. And in your dumb, ignorant self, you will believe it. You'll believe it. And that's why you mad that she didn't get that award. Because you wanted, you know, Wakanda to live forever. Some fantasy place. You understand? That you'll never have in this kingdom. You're going to have it, but it won't be here. It'll be because of Yahweh gave it to you. Salaki,
I know one time, I remember, if I could, sir, when I was looking for something to do, right? I wanted to do something hardcore, and I was bored, and I wanted to try doing martial arts. So I did some research on the finding styles. I wasn't finding what I wanted to do, right? I went to Chinatown, and the guy had some sort of ceremony he had to do to be accepted into the school, right? Which was his culture. So I went and did it. But I remember doing it. I'm in the middle of doing it, right? And at the very end, and I'm seeing the style I wanted to study in the family crest, and in my mind I said, well, where the fuck is that? Like, I'm saying to myself, like, I'm doing this here, yo, this is Chinese. And I'm not Chinese. I'm doing this here, and it stuck with me like, this is not mine. But I'm doing it for somebody else. I got to learn their culture, their way, but it ain't me. And I realized that. I would have gone and studied. But then when I found the truth, and the first time I went to a class, I sat in front and tears flew down my eyes. Because I said to myself, damn, I fought my fucking family crest. And I didn't know, but when I found it, the tears flowed down my eyes. Like, this is my family crest. Now I ain't got to go join something else. I ain't got to be down with something else. And then forget about it. When I read the scriptures, how we had the warriors, the David's mighty men. Man, I read them stories. I said, I'm done with all that. You can have all that stuff out of the soul. And I realized by doing it, you learn their culture, their way of life. And when I really got deep into that whole thing, they was mimicking all the boxing brothers over here. You understand? Like taking their styles from it and incorporating into what they do.
That's
so
right.
Are you really that bad? No, you're not. And I read the scripture where it says, you know, David's mighty man, the one brother Bonnie who went down there and And Benaniah went down there and took the staff from the cat and killed him. Killed the lion with his bare hands and killed that cat who the lion, Moab lion-like man or whatever.
Two lion-like men.
Yeah. I said, man, what the hell am I doing? I said, the hell am I done? You know what I mean? I'm gonna get down with the truth. That's my family crest.
David
like,
put
this
down
is my heritage.
David put down Goliath. Put his big ass down. And he was shaming the nation of Israel.
Yeah.
He was shaming them, like, come on out. Who coming out? Who gonna fight me? He was shaming them. David went out there young, you know what I mean, knowing that he'd been out there in them woods and went and killed a lion and a bear. He knew he could take this big ass Edomite, heathen, and went up in there and put that piece of garbage down from shaming the Lord's people. And let me tell you something, man, that is so heavy what David did, and something for us to learn, that we're not to let other people shame our nation, man.
That's right.
Like if our nation were to come into that mindset, it would be explosive. Everybody on the street that was homeless would be put in shelters. Everybody that was out there acting up would get shut down. Everybody selling dope would get cut off. Anybody preying on us would get cut off. You setting up a business where? No, you're not doing that. We're doing it for ourselves to help us. Like, it would flip our whole world right before our eyes. And if I could add, if y'all could, but let me just add one quick thing. What you're saying, I've experienced as well, Haas, because, growing up back in them days, the Chinese, the Moabites made a ton of money off of blacks and Latino. And let me tell you why. And it was so heavy when I thought about it after I saw it later. Back then, first of all, Bruce Lee was rejected by the Chinese and the mobsters and all of them over there, because to them, he was bringing martial arts over here and teaching it to heathens, which they felt like that was kind of their sacred thing. You know what I'm saying? They didn't mind putting it in movies, but they didn't want nobody really teaching. He came over here, was teaching it, and the Edomites rejected him. The Edomites wasn't down with Bruce Lee. He didn't have them. The Edomites wasn't with him. They was against him. And because they was against him, they would not go to his martial arts school. So what did he do? He started befriending black people, Wilt Chamberlain and them. And before you know it, he started teaching martial arts to black people. And then black people started becoming real good at the martial arts. And why did we do it? Because we didn't have what the Edomites had. The Edomites had self-pride and dignity among themselves. And they wasn't going to go learn from no Chinese man back then. They wasn't having that. When they started getting into it? The minute the MMA game started.
Yes, sir.
Once they was able to make money off of it, they took it out the hands of the Chinese and put it in their hands. Listen, the MMA ain't nothing but Oriental kickboxing. That's what it started as. Remember, them octagons was them rings they had over there in Southeast Asia. They was always fight. You see them, they got the religious headpiece, Muay Thai and all that. That's what that was. And they brought it, of course, through Brazil, through our brothers, and brought it to the U.S. And now it's sanitized. It ain't no religion on it. Ain't no religious symbolism in it. It's all about making money and competition and battling like any football, baseball, or anything else. That's when they got in. So you're right, back then. I was invited down to several martial arts schools and ran into the same problem. I would go into the school, and then you go into the school, and before you could come all the way in, they got a shrine going there and want you to do different things. And it was like, I have friends that was like, yeah, man, come on, man, I'm telling you, you go. And of course, it was like, what's this? You know what I mean? They gonna drug me, or what's this? What's all this? And I rejected them too. And that's why I was glad to get into wrestling. I got into wrestling because, of course, wasn't no religion in it. And it was in my high school. So it was like, okay, let's go do that. Because this other stuff, they was trying to give you their God along with the martial arts. Because, of course, they looked at it like all a religious experience. And tons of cats went in there. You should, brothers start putting on the Chinese garment, remember? The boots, y'all remember? The hat. Some of them even started trying to learn that Mandarin, taking trips over there. And forget about the worst part was making them sounds like them. All that, all that old that come from them. That ain't how black people yell. Black people, ah! Nigga don't mess. He don't go like that. But that we was learning that from them. So y'all get the point, man. We got to care about us. So that's it. It's a lot.
U.S. government moves to stop potential banking crisis.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. government took extraordinary steps Sunday to stop a potential banking crisis after the historic failure of the Silicon Valley Bank, assuring all depositors as the failed institution that could access all their money quickly, even as another major bank was shut down. The announcement came amid fears that the factors that caused Santa Clara's California-based bank to fail could spread. Regulators had worked all weekend to try to find a buyer for the bank, which was the second largest bank failure in history.
If I could, sir, I don't know much about this. I don't know why it happened. Of course, Democrats are blaming this on Republican policies. Republicans are blaming this on Democrat policies, vice versa. But they had a bank, I think a group of banks shut down this week.
There's two of them. Yeah.
Two banks shut down in California. It was the second largest bank shutdown in history. The market scrambled and everybody got afraid of having their money in banks. They went berserk. America did something to stabilize it. Usually it means giving everybody money or doing something with the with the Fed. I think
the Fed, the FDIC. It was so beautiful to see. So I'm sorry. It's gonna happen some more. You can best believe that. It's gonna be some more. And listen, all you old Bitcoin, that's what started. You old Bitcoiners. Here's how this started. This bank used to be a Bitcoin bank, meaning everybody that had which is why Bitcoin is so stupid. Everybody that had Bitcoin was trading a Bitcoin for dollars through this bank. And I mean millions of dollars, doing all kind of nefarious stuff with Bitcoins and trading their money with this bank right here. And the bank started making so much money, they started going into the tech section, all this online stuff. And they start making loans and all that to those tech sectors. And those tech sectors start putting all their money in this bank. And Joe Biden, which he ain't saying, lowered the regulations on the banks when he got in office. So they really went off. So they start, trading them Bitcoins and trading the rest of the funds they had, taking risky loans and all of that. And of course, once the Bitcoin started going down, remember that Edomite that did that scam about 6 months ago? What was his name? It was a young Edomite,
young billionaire type cat.
Yeah,
Bitcoin guy.
He had all these millions of dollars in Bitcoin. It was in this bank, and when they caught him scamming, once again because the regulation was low, they caught him scamming like Esau do. He's such a thief. He steals everything, and so they caught him. They reeled him in, but they ain't know, or they knew 6 months later this was gonna fall out. This was going to happen because they pulled the rug up under that thief who was stealing and robbing and doing all kind of stuff in the bank. And they doing them in all these banks. And not only that, they really going to get in a crunch. They got to steal your money eventually because they want to go to war. And they can't have you free to do whatever you want to do while they at war. So they're going to try to steal everybody's money after a while. And so that's all that happened. And Joe Biden came in with the insurance. So now they paying off everybody who had accounts in there. And so I don't know if brothers got this kind of cash, but if you got more than $250,000, you need to move it into separate bank accounts because over $250,000, they don't insure it. You're going to lose the money. So if you got more than 250 grand cash, make sure you move it into a bank, move some of it into other bank accounts or you could lose it. You know what I mean? But that's that Bitcoin. That's all that is. All them investments in them banks. Wall Street ain't nothing but a hustle anyway. They showed that with the what's that video game? The GameStop thing. Remember the GameStop crisis? Yeah. That's what the GameStop crisis was. The average people started betting opposite Wall Street. And then when it all came out in the wash, Wall Street lost millions. And they shut it off. And they shut it off because their job is not to lose. Their job is to take your money, give you hope that you're gonna, do something. If you want to invest some money, invest money in real things, especially among blacks and Latinos. Like, why invest in something that Esau gas you up that's going to be amazing when you should invest in your people? If you lose, at least you lost help trying to help your own. You lose with them. Like that Enron. Remember that Enron?
Oh, yeah.
They said too big to fail. Brother, they wiped out millions of black people and Latino people's money. Wiped them out. Some people had their whole nest egg in those investments, man. But that's the future. This is where we going. We going to war. We going to bank runs. We going to domestic madness, more mass shootings. This is where it's going. We going to shortages on everything. You understand? And all of you old preppers that think you're going to build a bunker underground and be up in there with your family, you the first to go. You know what I mean? You need a nation. You need a people. You need the Lord's work to fix what you're doing. You gotta all, do for yourself, of course, but you better be part of a nation or you're going to be a victim of every madman that's running around out here. You know what I mean? Mark my words. That's why we coming together on this 54th annual Passover.
That's right, sir.
You know what I'm saying? That's what this Passover is about. We representing something amazing in this earth. What's happening at this Passover is amazing because this is the actual building of Christ's kingdom again being unfolded right before your eyes. And this is the perfect time for you to step right on in and be part of this nation that's going forward and growing and about to take over the earth. This is what's getting ready to happen. And it's a beautiful time for us to do this. Otherwise, you're going to be part of all. There's going to be tons more of this. A whole lot of stuff like this is going to happen. Really, after the pandemic, everything changed. Everything changed after the pandemic. Some things became super expensive. Some things became super low. The things you thought would never be expensive became expensive. And things you thought would never, the price wouldn't drop. Who thought you'd be paying $8 for a carton of eggs after that pandemic? You know what I'm saying? You want to invest, man. Invest in real things. Buy you a farm. That's what you should do. If you want to invest, I'm just saying, get you a farm if you want. Muhammad ain't buying no farms, okay? You can forget that. I said, he a farmer. He ain't doing that. I'm just saying, invest in something you can help your people with, man. Grow something and feed them. That's what you need right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. That condo, you giving that up. All that's getting going. They're going to bring this place to his knees, and thanks the Lord for it. And not just here, all over the country. You hear what happened with the two, with Iran and Saudi Arabia. They came together today. They came together, and they came together under China, which is the smoker. Like nobody expected. Listen, and you could hear the Americans was jealous. They was like, this is, it's good that they come together, but why are they doing it under China? Like, what does China have to do with it? China, China has never been a player in the Middle East to try and solve domestic issues and issues between countries. That's always been the Americans' job. Why are they? And they was jealous. China slid right on in there, broke a peace between Iran and Saudi Arabia, chilled everything out. Now that because of it, the Houthis in Yemen is gonna stop starving to death because they starving them over there. And they mad about that. Plus, so much is going on in the Asian world now. China is circling Taiwan. North Korea just announced that they got missiles that can come off submarines now. So they done stepped to the next level now. They coming off submarines. So they getting ready to get this. Also, Poland. You heard about Poland. Poland done armed up. Poland, brother, is arming up like it's Nazi Germany. Yes, like it's World War III. Poland putting every weapon and arm it could think of on the front lines, getting ready to go to war with Russia and Ukraine. China, of course, is sending weapons over to Russia. You know what I mean? That old Putin has a big smile on his face when he get with that Chinese cat. That's GEN.YAHANNA. He get with him, brother. You see Putin smiling.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Tell you on this topic. This is something I always wonder about with China, right?
Yeah.
okay, China is super powerful now.
Sure.
More powerful than I can remember.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and even I notice in movies
Mhm.
and in sports, everyone is catering to China.
Yeah.
Like every movie has some Chinese
Theme.
spin that they want to sell in China, and
They just gave it an award for the first time.
It won every
to
award.
an Asian American. Yes.
I'm watching this movie is winning every single award tonight.
Yeah.
And it's happening everywhere. Where China is just at the forefront of everything. Now, back in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that America funded China's rise because everything used to say made in China.
Yeah.
And it looks like almost like China took all that made in China money and now is a threat to America. And what I wonder is, why would America have done that? Meaning, why would America, knowing that China was an enemy, they had to know it, long like 90s or 80s, right? Why would they allow China, make a deal with China that virtually means everything in this room was made in China? Everything you touch and sit down on, when you lift it up, it says made in Taiwan, made in China. Why did they even allow them to make that much money? Was it like a error, like in Obadiah, where the wise men, have failed thee? Or was it on purpose? Or what in the hell, why did they let them make so much goddamn money? That's what I always wonder.
Listen, that's an excellent question. And here is the answer.
Shalom.
Listen, the answer is they're thieves. And if you think like a thief, that's what you will do. They don't care how much money China made until now. Back then, all them cats back then, all them old neo-conservatives, they wanted China to sell everything at 2 cents a piece because they was making a truckload of cash. So they a politician in power, they supposed to cut them out. But instead of cutting them out, they like, y'all struggling, but y'all can make stuff. And they just made money hand over fist. Then when they started to turn? When China start buying ports in America. They start coming for ports. The State Department starts stopping them. Whoa, we ain't giving you them ports. They cut them off. China still kept on going. That's why the economy in California is probably closest to the biggest state in America, if not the biggest.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because all of the junk coming from Asia is coming in through California and being sold. Now, what they're not saying is that there's a ton of Edomites getting rich off of every little made in China. There's an Edomite getting paid off. Same way they was going over there making sneakers. You got Edomites. Right now, let me tell you what's on the cutting edge right now. Right now, you have Edomites that are going over to China and making virtual reality glasses. That's right. In a minute, you're gonna see everybody with virtual reality glasses. And the reason for that is this whole metaverse thing, but also because these virtual reality glasses that they make it are going to become so interactive that they're going to be able to do everything on the glasses. Call this person, send a memo to this person, get in touch with this person. Alexis, give me and they wired into your head. And on top of it, it got cameras on. So they're going to be able to film everything. Now, you ain't going to make videos by setting up the camera. You're just going to have the glasses on and just start talking. Yeah, so and so. And the cameras is going to film whatever it is that you're talking about. You're talking about food. If you were a YouTuber, yeah, look at my cake, or this is my cake. Boom, and it's gonna upload right off the glasses. They trying to take it to the next level. Who's making that? China. Why you got to go to China? Because to do it here in America be too much money. So now they know China's the enemy. They still going to China to make the damn virtual reality glasses because, of course, they had to make money. That's why they fighting in Ukraine. Because them Bidens, man, and them other Edomites down with them, that whole crew, they made tons of money. They own oil up in Ukraine. They own oil and minerals and all kinds of money they making up out of that Ukraine. When Putin came down in there, it was like, oh, you messing with our cash flow right here. And that's when they wrote all that wheat. They making, and he's a thief. And that's why he just went on and did it. But then them Chinese was smart enough to know the day gonna come when they gonna cut us off. And they ran until Esau cut them off, but then it was too late. They was too powerful then. Go ahead, Al.
Like I said, General Kuthum had a question.
Yeah.
He said, is that why Donald Trump was trying to tax China, sir?
That's exactly why. Because, of course, the Republicans don't like operating with countries outside of America. Even if America can't do it. Like, they ran all of the Latinos out of the country knowing that they did not have anybody to farm these farms. And these farms going out of business, they're giving subsidies to these farmers. Now, they're going to eventually come up with the prisoners and send them out there. But they didn't care. They'll cut you off. So that's why Donald Trump and them was trying to cut China off, because, of course, they looking at it like we helping them get great. But remember, Donald Trump's a billionaire. His billions is in hotels, in luxury countries. You know what I'm saying? If you say you're going to cut off Monaco, then he's going to be mad. But long as Monaco is fine, and Rome and Italy and England, he could care less about China. You know what I mean? And them little trinkets and cars and them little things they selling. What the hell he care about it? He in the hotel. So really, it's whichever thief is in power, he works the work his way. And that's exactly what's going on. And now it's too late. China done got up there and got, same with the Arabs. They lucked out with the Arabs. Here's why. Them Arabs, because it's not their culture to build high military apparatuses, is why they lucked out. Because if it was China that they had to buy that oil from, they would be buying that oil from a China right now in Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? Like Saudi Arabia would be China. Yeah. But the Arabs, they don't fight like that. The Arabs, for some reason, that's not their style. They take that AK-47 and go in the cave. And they'll come out and fight you, with terrorism and tactics. But and still win many times. Yeah. But they ain't gonna build nuclear weapons. Well, they are building them now, but you know what I'm saying? Like for so many years, like you know how much oil money they made off of in Saudi Arabia? Them Saudi Arabians, brother, could have had, forget about it. They could have been more powerful than the state of Israel. But they didn't go that route because that's not their style. Educated. Yeah, on that level, exactly. Right. So, but the Chinese were, and they used it against them, and now here we go. We in it now. And believe you me, we in it. A Southeast Asian president, some little tiny little country, went and wrote some open letter to China, cursing China out. And I saw that open letter. I said, this is a tiny country. I said, what is this? Because if America backs that country and they try to fight off China, now we got the same proxy war like we do in Ukraine. And here we go, because that's where it's going. This Taiwan thing is coming to a head. And now America gonna be fighting on two fronts. Then it'll be over to Africa. And brother, when they get to Saudi Arabia, time to strap up. Because this is at the end then. And boy, it's moving fast. And thank the Most High for it. You know what I mean? It might seem a little scary. We over the time. It might seem a little scary to some of you out there that don't understand and have not thought about standing up in this battle to the end for Yahweh's kingdom. But this is where it was always going to come. Your little trips to the beach and whatever it is you're doing, it was always a temporary thing, and you should have always had it in your mind as a temporary thing. You understand? Like you are preparing for the end. That's the life that you're supposed to have. As a man, you should be walking like we coming to the end, and I'm preparing, and I'm gonna build Christ's kingdom and bring the brothers and sisters in and deal with your family the same way, deal with your brothers the same way. You come into horrible time, but it's going to be beautiful for you because you're going to have the knowledge of the truth, and the Most High is going to guide us all through this path on our way up out of here. A lot of things that we think we should do, we're not going to be doing, and a lot of things we think we shouldn't be doing, we're going to be doing. And the world will be looking at us sideways until they pick up and realize they know what they're doing. And it's going to be a blessing. Listen, you are a blessing. If you're in this truth, if you're in the ISUPK, you're a great blessing to brothers and sisters that's in the world, and they don't even know it yet.
Right.
They don't even know what the Lord is about to have you do for them. But it's coming quickly, man. That's why join us at this Passover. This Passover is so important. We don't know if it'll be the last one. I don't think it'll be, but man, this thing is moving mad quick. You know what I'm saying? They just said that they getting ready to put a ton of arms in Ukraine to fight Russia. They get ready. They talking the jets. That was the last thing. Once the jets come, you in a full-out conflict. So the jets is coming. All Europe is armed up. They all getting their weapons together. Everybody in the world is arming themselves up, getting ready for the Third World War. All you got to do is prepare for the return of your king.
That's right.
Join us, 54th annual Passover, North Carolina, man. Join us every Monday night on this show here, man, at America on Fire. This is where it's at. This is where we laying it out. I got nothing but the heavy hitters in the building. General Muhammad, General Makahala, General Hazai Young, Officer Marah, Officer Yediah, holding us down every week. And I want to say big shout out to y'all too, man, because y'all definitely, I know it's late. Y'all got slaveries. I know y'all be in here grinding with us, man, every week, holding us down. I want you to know we appreciate you, appreciating the Patazah, Fabawan out there always doing the stories, holding us down with that. You understand? But Barack out of D.C., Mashak Mayan out of D.C., you know what I mean, working on the videos. A lot of brothers is putting hands and sisters is putting hands in this, man, that's been helping this thing along and keeping this thing going out and waking people up. We've been on the air now, man, for over a decade. We've been on this thing over a decade, man. Tons of brothers and sisters have woken up in the truth. You understand? Big shout out to all the other captains around the world doing their amazing work, man. Putting it down in this work, man. It's been a real, real beautiful thing that's been going on. Who else has been working on this show, man, for years with us? Am I missing? Who else am I missing? Did I get everybody? There's so many brothers that have inputted on this, man. But for time's sake, we're going to get up out of here, man. We'll see you next time live on the UPK, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You allow these Roman Catholics to molest babies all day long, and you mad at me. How the hell you gonna be mad at me when you let them faggots sit up there and push this garbage on our children and molest babies all across the world?
Stop English! Y'all standing in New York! That's in the 80s! That's all y'all in New York! In the 80s!
The most right for wisdom, man. Not for money. Like these bosses got running down. Give me now wisdom. It's the 80s, man. The most right for wisdom, man. Not for the tax. Give me now wisdom. It's the 80s, man. The most right for wisdom, man. Not for
change of world. Some of you heard about it. Some of you asked me about it. It's about how in the future, according to the Bible, blacks will eventually rise over all other societies based on the power of Christ and his deliverance. It's a very power-packing book, has many scriptures in it, and it's a very, very deep book. I encourage you to get it. That book is $9.99 plus $2.95 postage and handling. You can write me here and you can get that. I also have another book called Brief History of the Illuminati. A lot of you have heard about George Bush's New World Order and how the UN is coming together. You're interested in how the summits are going and how things are happening. I got news for you. That is a pre-planned program that has started back in the 1700s. And it's right on up to the Bush administration. It is totally orchestrated by Satan. And this book is very, very heavy. I want to tell you a little bit about these videotaping cassettes before I take a couple more calls. History of the World, Street Wars, The Real Jews Are Black, The True Color of Christ, The Third World's War. These are just to name a few of the videotapes and cassettes. All our videotapes and transcripts, we keep them at a very low price of $19.95. Right in. And let me say this to all you brothers and sisters out there. You need these kind of books and these tapes in your library. This is a must. These are the kind of things that we need to be teaching our children. Okay, once they've learned the ABCs, before they get indoctrinated with Western civilization and George Washington and things like that, we need to know a little more about a stronger foundation about the truth about ourselves. Okay, that's enough on that. Let me just